Okay, so I'm back, and this is to let you know that this is to show you how I do my own patterns. Now first, get me a book. And yeah, I have a book called Knitting. And first of all, I write out my patterns the way I see it in my head. So if I know that I have a chart that's going to be the whole body image right in the front where the chest is, I'm going to have a chart there that's probably going to be cables, or probably going to be a fan feather, or some other lacy design. This sweater, I do not know what it's going to turn out looking like until it is finished, because I have an idea in my head and I put it down on paper first. So as you can tell, I have my chart 1, and I have my stitches per the chart and how many rows it takes to repeat this particular design. And this is a lace design. It's like a fan lace design that I have in my head. So basically I have worked through this pattern, and I like the stitch. And then I have a chart number 2 for my side panels of my sweater. And then I have a third, which is another side panel for my sweaters. Now, this chart 2's panel is very small. It's a very small panel. So I will have, and I will get to this point in my book. As you can tell, I use a lot of paper. Here is my outline of my sweater. It's basically a square with arms cut out of it. And I measure the length, the width of my sweater around my waist, around my bust line, and then again across my shoulders. So I can tell where the highest point is and where I need to decrease and increase into my sweater. I also measure how long I want my sweater. And this sweater is going to drape, so it's not going to have a ribbing as normal. It has an edging. So I measure that point as well. I measure from my neckline. And this again is going to be a boat type sweater like the current one that I am wearing. And I measure how much I need to decrease for my armholes going on the sides of my sweater. And this is the front and back. There's pretty primitive drawings, but I'm pretty accurate. And my arms, I measure the length and how the width of my arms. So I measure around here, and then again around my elbow, and then again around my shoulder to make sure that my sleeve is going to fit properly. And I know how many stitches to decrease and when to decrease. And I have here is another thing where I laid out my stitch pattern. And this is like chart 1, and these are chart 2. And in between I will have purl stitches. And this is just how I laid out my body of my sweaters. I don't know how well you can see this because it's actually written in pencil. But I have my body for chart 1 and 2, how many stitches it takes for each chart, how many times I want the chart to repeat across my sweater, and how many stitches I'll need. And then the leftover stitches is the background stitches, which are the purl stitches. And I do the same thing for my arms and for my edging. Now, this is my design for my layout. And as you can tell, I have chart 1. Well, this is chart 3, which is a center chart. How many stitches it takes. Then it's chart 3, chart 1, and then chart 3 again. So, I mean, that's how I lay out my sweaters. And this particular sweater is going to be 3 different balls of yarn. So we have a very deep purple. And then we have another purple. And then we have another purple. Basically, my color scheme is going to be like so, and it's going to repeat up the sweater so many times throughout the sweater, approximately 9 times. So my sweater is 162 rows in length. So every 18 rows, I'm going to switch colors. So I have 3 balls of yarn for that, for this project. Again, I do not know what this is going to look like. Now I have started my edging, and here is my edging, and it's going to need to be blocked, and it has a lace pattern here, some holes, and it has a nice little texture with a dip, and this is repeating itself all the way around the bottom of my sweater. And of course it's going to need to be blocked because this is going to stop I'm going to have this stop curling up so it can lay nicely. And I have the use of my stitch markers to place in between each chart that I am doing. In this case, this is just a 12-row repeat, so I have 8 stitches, eight sets of repeats, so I have it breaking my repeats, so I know where to go. But this is as far as I've gotten. I have taken this apart once already, so this is like day 3 for this sweater that I'm making, and I hope you will join me for the journey on my mysterious purple sweater, which I am going to call this a mysterious purple sweater because I don't have a current sweater in this pattern to actually show you except my work in progress. So please like, subscribe. If you have any comments, please leave them below, and happy knitting.